Hell yeah. I like being in America. No, I really do. I kind of got ill. I think I got sick from MAGFest. Or probably the aeroplane. But right, on the aeroplane over, on my flight from Manchester to London, there was a woman next to me, and she was just coughing the entire time. And I was like, God damn it. Like, it's not even like a fox diving. It's just like...
hacking.
Why do sick people just want to... Just like... She wasn't even putting a hand to her face or anything.
Oh, just doing like the kid cough where she just like making an O with her mouth.
yeah.
That's where you can like, as long as you don't mind her giving you the stink eye, that's where you could just go and talk to one of the flight staff and be like, hey, can I go sit somewhere else?
No, it was a full plane. I would have got moved immediately if it was possible.
Oh, jeez. How long was your layover in New York?
14 hours.
Good Lord. Was it at least in the day?
No, it was at night.
Oh. Did you just, like, what did you do?
I got scammed for $300 almost immediately after with a taxi driver. So that was fun.
That's not a joke. You actually did?
No, I know.
Yeah, dude, he's been, like, PayPaling me money because his card...
Yeah, so I had to like block my card almost straight away. So I've just been like sending money from my account to
Holy
and
crap.
getting in dollars. I mean, I get the money back because my bank's like got a special like fraud aware thing where if you ever get frauded or scammed in any way, they always give you the money straight back. So it takes like 30 days or whatever. But
never changed, New York.
Hey, I'm Fingers.
Yo, it's ApacheSmash.
Hey everyone, this is Days Ahead.
And I'm Nitroid. You're listening to the Kojima Frequency. Did you get to see anything fun in New York? Like, even a little?
Did you see the bridge?
The Hudson River, 2 years ago.
no, I mean the only
You
thing
got to see where Sully landed.
Yeah, I love seeing the Hudson River, and people are like, oh, because of Metal Gear? No, because a guy landed a fucking plane on it and no one died. I fucking look every time I see it, I'm like, holy shit.
Dude, Metal Gear fans don't watch movies, and no one's gonna know what you're talking about.
Bro, we're talking about real life.
Yeah, I'm talking about in real life. For real, it really happened.
And that's called a joke.
I
sorry.
I thought you were going to say, like, they don't know what the Hudson River is. I was like, I don't know. I'm not with it, man. I'm still kind of ill-ish.
It's just been non-fucking stop. Like, we went to MAGFest, and then right out of MAGFest, like, we had to rearrange the computers and stuff for, like, LAN stuff. And then doing tech checks for AGDQ, and then D&D, and now this recording. And then tomorrow night is the MGS3 race on AGDQ, which is going to be taking place in my office.
That's pretty rad.
But then Friday, I think we have some peaceful time.
Don't we have a raid?
I don't think I'm going to that raid, man. I'm so tired.
Just to give some context for everybody listening, so Apache flew to the U.S. and is currently staying with Days, and you both went to MAGFest, and now AGDQ is going on, and you're going to be participating in that, and Fingers is basically right next door, so you three are in very close proximity, and I'm like, 10 hours west.
Yeah. We'll take a picture and Photoshop you in. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that works. Not even a picture of him, like the picture of the, the avatar that he uses.
Yeah, just you need like a cardboard standee.
Me and Fingers were gonna meet today, but like I've been so ill, I didn't even get up until like 3 p.m. or something. So we're definitely gonna do something soon, though.
Make some beats. Yeah, I was thinking about it, man. That is a lot, like a huge like jet lag, and then going to convention, and like after that, my ass would be laid up for a week, just like recovering. So I get it, man. It's no sweat.
Con flu.
But yeah, we've still been like doing stuff like every single day as well. So
yeah, like even after even the day we were supposed to leave for the con, like we stayed a little bit at the con just because the parking situation was pretty decent. And then we went through DC for a bit. So, like, every day has just been a damn journey. And it will continue to be a journey until we need to catch up on WoW.
Yeah, so I did see some of the run that you did at MAGFest. That was and with Days up there doing the commentating, that was really cool to see.
Yeah, she was awesome, and like I was nervous. She was a bit nervous about doing it as well, and I'm like, listen, I just need someone with me. I don't want to be sat up there on my own. And she obviously was like, yeah, of course. It like so many people showed up to watch that run. Like MAGFest is one of many things to do at that convention. Obviously, you've been before, right, Fingers?
I've DJ'd at Mag Labs and MAGFest Game Over Richmond a few times, but no, I've never been to MAGFest Super.
That was my first time there. So there is like infinite amounts of things to do. So I'm thinking like not many people are going to take time out of their Saturday night and come and watch someone play Metal Gear Solid 3, right? And, you know, every time I've gone into the MAGFest room, there were a few things that were like really popular. Like there was a Portal 2 speedrun, and it had Ellen McLean, who does the voice of she was there doing like co-commentary. So obviously that was like crazy popular, right? And you know, it's difficult to get people to come and watch you run at something like MAGFest because there's so much going on. But that room, so many people came. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of us has said it yet, so I'm just gonna make sure we put it out there. MAGFest is the music and gaming fest. It takes place in the National Harbor every year. I jokingly call it the Coachella of gaming conventions because it's music based, and it seems like a lot of people are there for like to see and to be seen. But that's neither here nor there. There's like Apache said, there's so much cool shit to do. Including MAGFest, which is the speedrunning event. And we thought, you know, it's a Saturday night. People want to drink. People want to go out and see their friends for the last night. And yet we had sort of like a full house. We had some Kojima Frequency fans in the crowd. We had Pinky Oats and we had Angelus in there. We had folks sing to the Snake Eater theme during the ladder.
Oh man,
I've never had that before. Like I've had maybe 1% of that, people joining in singing it, and a lot of the runs I've done are online. I mean, honestly, like when I started regularly getting into marathons, it was like deep territory. So like, you know, I've done a lot of online events, and that was like, I'd say I've done ESA in person, but it was really early in the morning and no one was awake. And like, obviously there was a lot of Americans watching online, but for having like an actual audience watching me run, it was a totally different experience. One of the coolest experiences I've had in speedrunning, and my favorite run I have ever done.
And then we after we got off stage, a gentleman with a shark came up to us, congratulated us. He was already pretty great in the crowd, and then he handed us some mini bottles.
Yeah, give me some vodka.
Definitely a MAGFest moment. Shout out to Shark Guy. Pingtuber. We see you out there, man.
Yeah, what a legend.
Yeah, it did look like you were having a lot of fun up there. Like it was like a nice relaxed run, you know, like you're just having a good time with it.
I just cracked like a dumb joke, and like, you know, everyone started laughing, and I was like, whoa, people are laughing at my jokes. I got a lot more of them.
Yeah.
And whenever there was like, you know, God forbid a screw up, you know, the whole crowd was pretty like go with the flow with it. Like it wasn't about just like making records or anything like that. It was about having a good time.
Yeah, I messed up and I had to like exit and re-enter our room, and I went, oh, just pretend I'm entering this room for the first time, and someone went, oh my god, he's entering the room for the first time.
I saw you did the classic The End bit too. Where...
So has anyone not played Metal Gear before? In case anyone's confused, I'll just briefly explain it. This next part's the end. It's not the end of the run. It's a boss called the End. There's also a boss called the Boss, but that's not this boss. That boss is at the end. Just in case anyone was confused at what's going on.
Yeah, I knew, like if there was I knew that would get a laugh.
That
like
got a great laugh, yeah.
that always gets like a reaction. So I was getting excited to do it, you know, as that part was coming up. I always do it in the same place and like the same room. As I was getting to that room, all I could think about was like, I can't wait to crack this joke.
And I was gonna say, outside of the run, like we actually had a room with an atrium, which meant that you could kind of have a balcony to sort of the main convention center. And I have to say, I felt like a queen or a princess waking up to the Super Smash Bros. Melee theme being played by like a full orchestra.
Yeah, that was really dope. I had to go a video of that.
And then I also saw Night of the Round. Since I'm like super into Final Fantasy now, which we'll probably get into later.
Oh yeah, they're great.
They came back for the first time after like years apparently, and they just like cleaned house. That was an incredible show. Just so much. I mean, we could talk about it the whole episode. It was such a great opportunity. I'm so glad that Apache enjoyed his first MAGFest. At one point, I said in the crowd, I was like, "This is his first MAGFest," and everybody's like, "Yeah!" So it sounds like it was a good one, and hopefully we can make this a Kojima Frequency tradition.
That's something that we got off people that we saw that know us from this. We're like, oh, I wish Fingers was here, I wish Nitro was here. And I'm like, dog, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely wanted to be there, man. Sucks. Maybe next year. Try to play some music up there, maybe.
I think I'll go next year. I do think I'll go next year.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
I'm really gonna try, especially because it sounds like your runs are kind of turning into the Metal Gear equivalent of like audience participation at like a Rocky Horror showing.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Or like people throw like toast and water.
People are gonna be like reciting the end bit along with it and stuff now. Everybody knows to sing when the ladder comes. It just comes, all these traditions start forming up. Unspoken.
Yeah.
We also had talked about a little bit with the MAGFest folks about RE2 as well. So yeah, it was a good time.
There's your Resident Evil mention for the episode.
Resident Evil 2.
We got to work in at least one. Gosh, if only there was a Metal Gear convention.
Yeah, that is one that I actually am booked for when the Kickstarter launches and everything works out. I am scheduled to DJ that event, so that's when I'll be at.
Yeah, I'll be going too.
Yeah.
I actually need to talk with her. She messaged me saying, oh, we need to chat about something, and I was like, yeah, I'm kind of like super busy for the next couple of weeks, but as soon as I get home, it's the first person I'll be calling.
Yeah, she was talking about definitely having a Kojima Frequency panel there, if we can make it happen, but we'll see.
Just some quick context is that there's a fan currently setting up what's called MGSCon, and that's July 15th in LA, and that could be pretty cool.
I hope so. It's something I'd love to see happen.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised there hasn't been something like that already, I mean, I've always heard people talking about doing something like that, but I think it's just been, a question of, is this too niche? What would it involve? How do we get the people over? I mean,
just the amount of work. I mean, I run an event a few times a year, and that requires, there's like 15 of us who all do stuff for it.
It requires what, like 2 weeks of work tops, right, Apache? Like,
oh yeah, it's only two.
MPD.
I can't. That was so funny. Someone thinking that Mikeyama takes 2 weeks to plan GDQ when I spend 2 weeks worth of hours just stressing about my event, which is like much smaller. But I run UKSG, United Kingdom Speedrunner Gathering in the UK, so.
Dude, it takes me like 2 weeks to get out of bed.
Shout out Amanda Lemon. She's the head honcho behind everything with all of this, and she's been working her ass off to just get it all lined up, and she's got some cool ideas lined up, and it should be an exciting event. Like I'm pretty hyped for it.
Yeah, I had a few folks while I was at MAGFest message me like, "Are you going to MGSCon?" And I was like, "One step at a time, man. One step at a time." But yes,
that's a lot of travel.
Tell me about it.
No, I think I really realized how much I love America. While I was here, like American events, when I compare them to the stuff I've been to in Europe, people are just a lot more excited and just up for a good time. And I really appreciated how like just excitable everyone was.
Yeah, we do not lack for enthusiasm at all,
especially at conventions. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I will. I think I will go next year as well.
Yeah, I really want to try and get in next year as well. I actually used to host Metal Gear panels at conventions, years and years ago. It's been a really long time, but it'd be fun to do something like that again.
Yeah, I saw a few Metal Gear cosplayers, no panels. a few cosplayers, a gray fox at the very end.
Yeah.
And a Big Boss body pillow, which I unfortunately did not buy, but
No panels at all.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
man.
just because I'm old, but I didn't recognize a lot of the things that people were dressed as.
yeah, the vendor shop, like I straight up told my friends, I was like, y'all, I couldn't find, like, it was really hard Christmas shopping.
Just all this like
'Cause-
Genshin Impact shit. You're just like, I don't know
Yeah.
what any of this is.
Or it's like that Family Guy clip where he's watching the Kids' Choice Awards, and it's all those names, and like, and it just ends with Peter Griffin. It's just like, I don't know any of these people.
God, it's kind of funny they had no MGS panels at all because we would have
I mean-
totally cornered the market.
Fuck me. There's probably some like person who had an MGS panel is like, fuck you, Kojima Frequency. You totally missed it. But I looked through the guidebook. I tried to search it. I didn't see anything. Maybe that was like an indexing issue, but
Yeah, I don't want to say that there was no panels. I'm just going to say I didn't see any. And if you had one, I'm sorry I missed it.
Yeah, they're always like tucked away in like the weird hallways. Like it's normally like you gotta like go to this like extra wing that no one's going to. And it's like, oh yeah, it's down the hall in that room.
yeah, it is kind of funny. Like I felt bad for Apache, like trying to have to navigate the Gaylord.
Oh man, it's a maze out there.
Like that whole thing is like you have to go down to go up. And
Oh, I would say that like it's so expensive, right? It's so expensive to buy anything in the
Yeah.
Gaylord, right? But we went and got $15 burgers, and we ran into Justin Silverman. So I don't know, it's kind of worth it, maybe.
That's definitely like the worst thing about conventions, just like learning the hotel. It's like, okay, all right, because everything always looks the same. You know, it's like all the decor is at least the same. So you're like, well, fuck, I don't know where I'm at.
Yeah, no, it really does all look the same, and it's on multiple floors as well.
Yeah,
So yeah, I about just had the hang of it as we were leaving.
yeah,
that's normally when you get it down. Yeah,
it's gonna take if you keep going, it's gonna take you a few years.
Does it still take like an hour to get back to your room if you take the elevator?
Not if you have our room.
Yeah, we had like the 3rd floor, so we just took the
Damn.
stairs the whole time.
Oh, we had one of, if not the best room in the hotel.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it was a good place to unwind.
So, speaking of runs, you had some news to share about speedrunning.
Yeah.
Some like big news.
No, I can't say it's a secret. This will go out on Monday, but I can't leak this here. I really can't. I can't. Something massive is happening in Metal Gear Solid 2 soon. The end.
oh,
Which is not the boss. It's like the end of conversation. just to clarify.
He's not even in that game.
Yo, sorry, you just reminded me, like, fucking David Hayter got robbed today.
Oh shit! Yeah.
That was insane.
I wonder if the person knew that was David Hayter too.
I was about to say, do they know who they're fucking with?
Right? Like, imagine reading in the paper later and like who well, first of all, who the fuck reads the paper? And second of all, like, that would be kind of scary to learn.
And just like hearing, or like if they broke in and he was home, and you just hear him like freeze, like you're like, oh shit, is that how it's like? We fucked up.
It's hard because, like, yeah, like I don't want to like make too much light because any
No,
sort
it's
of
shitty.
home
Yeah.
invasion is terrifying, but at the same time, like, holy fuck.
Yeah, no, the whole thing is definitely not to be taken lightly.
I'm just glad that he wrote that he's safe on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's yeah. I mean, he said he's safe, and they've got a partial license plate tag. But yeah, if y'all see a Mercedes S-Class in the San Fernando Valley with a partial plate reading UTAC, y'all can contact the LAPD.
Damn.
Because fuck those people. They robbed David Hayter, and we'll help find them.
Dude, you need to write like more PSAs. That was slick as fuck.
Yeah, it was.
I had the tweet pulled up right here.
You know that the blood is going to drain out of these dudes' faces when they find out they accidentally robbed a celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now the heat's going to be on them like twice as much,
Like, fuck, he wrote X-Men? Shit, I like that movie.
right?
Yeah.
Like maybe they'll just be like, dude, we robbed Solid Snake. Fuck, let's go give it back.
I'm such a good thief because I used to play the stealth games. Like,
Right? Like, what are the odds?
I learned everything I know from Metal Gear. Fuck.
It's like, I learned it from you.
What are the odds that these thieves are Metal Gear fans?
I hope they bring the shit back and just go, look, man, I'm sorry.
I didn't know. Please don't snap my neck.
I ran 100 VR missions. I'm so sorry. That's such an awful thing to joke about.
I got this technique from Sneaking 78.
He's never coming on the show.
It sucks for Hater because like fucking Warrior Nun just got cancelled and then he gets fucking robbed. It's bullshit, man.
I know he's getting robbed by Netflix and then robbed by these guys. This sucks.
Yeah.
Fucking Spectrum shutting down Corncob TV. It's 2023.
Is anyone else devastated there's going to be no season 3 of Warrior Nun? Or just me?
That's still one that I've gotten the backlog to like check out. So I was kind of waiting for it to all like I like for shows to be like completely out kind of and then like I binge it all really quick. But so
I get it. I get it because you never know when it's going to get cancelled.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to watch it, but man, I have such a huge backlog. Dude, like I just started watching Supernatural.
Oh, enjoy that ride.
And I realized how behind the curve I am. Oh my god, it's a blast. And I used to make fun of that show because the fandom was so annoying. And it's the best show freaking ever.
It's like Undertale, you gotta look past that.
Yeah, I'm having a blast. We're 5 seasons in, and it's awesome.
My mom would whoop my ass if I talked bad about the Winchester brothers. So
it was so funny because we were watching an episode where they sort of I mean, is it really spoilers considering how old this show is?
No, you're good.
Where they like wander into a convention about them, you know, and there's like people cosplaying as them.
Yes.
And like, oh my god, this show goes for the jugular when it comes to making fun of their fans. It's hilarious. It's like, I wish Metal Gear did more of that sometimes.
I feel like that's actually funny though. Like doing stuff like that is kind of like tongue in cheek. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I think like when Sherlock made fun of the fans, it was actually really disrespectful.
Yeah, that was too much. But I thought that
this is pretty good natured though.
Yeah, that the one that I remember that episode of Supernatural because it reminded me of the episode of Avatar when they're watching a theatrical reenactment of themselves. Same sort of energy.
Yeah, where they go to see the play and it's about them. Yeah, it's like in the last season. I love that episode.
It was just funny to see that episode because we were like, you know, there've got to be like actual supernatural conventions, and just out of curiosity, I look it up, and the big main supernatural convention is once a year in December, a half hour south of me.
I was going to say, is that still going? Because I know there was like the super Hulock.
All the actors show up. Right next door, which is pretty funny.
I know in our me and Fingers City, we have like it's literally a con dedicated pretty much to getting autographs.
Oh yeah, got a few of those.
Yeah, MAGFest had an autograph panel, but
the thing is, I don't want anyone's autograph. I think this is a thing that's more popular in the US, but I don't want someone's autograph. If it was like a famous person, I'd rather get a picture with them than an autograph.
Yeah, that's normally what they do. They'll have like a charge, or a rate for like selfies, and then a rate for like autographs. And
yeah, the selfie is this generation's autograph.
That's oh my god, that's what Paris Hilton said on an episode of the OC.
Really?
Yeah, I fucking
oh, no.
Yeah, she was like,
I want to die now. Thank you.
She took a picture. I'm pretty sure it was Paris Hilton. She took a picture and she was like, "This is a selfie. It's gonna be the new autograph."
She wasn't wrong.
And I was like, "That is the most poignant shit I've ever heard." Wow, you've blown my mind, Paris.
I only know her for her other work.
Incidentally, she was a monster in Supernatural, and she got her head cut off.
Let's go.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find that clip.
And it was an episode where they blatantly made fun of her as a person. So, I guess good on her for being a good sport.
Yeah, I love a bit of self-awareness.
She also got axed in that one horror movie, House of Wax. Huh.
Yeah.
This is a weird arc, Nitroid Supernatural fan arc. This is weird, right?
Yeah, I like how this came around, Paris Hilton.
I don't know what's happening.
And Supernatural, and
I don't
it's we're going right back to 2008. I don't know.
This is circling in on itself in a weird way, which I guess kind of fits for Metal Gear and stuff like that. But
I actually love it because I get into things all the time super late. I always get into things years later, and this is what it feels like, Nitroid. Everyone's seen it already.
I found the clip from the OC. just FYI.
Well, if anything, I regret not giving Supernatural a chance sooner because that's a great show.
I enjoy it. I don't love it. I don't think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but it's a good show.
You know, it's hard to tell sometimes if something I'm watching is actually good or if my standards are just so low now because of everything modern.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, that's a great. Can I use that as a segue, please?
Go for it. Go for it.
That is a great segue because I have spent my winter break playing through Dragonflight and also like the 7 remake, which I know we talked about like years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But like, as someone who's also kind of old and jaded, I am having a fucking blast.
Yes.
I'm playing that on a 3080 Ti with a DualSense controller on my PC.
Damn.
And like that shit is like off the fucking charts. That game is on its own. It's high on its own life, and it's so unapologetic for what it wants to be. The soundtrack is so good.
Yeah.
The combat. I first treated it like an action game.
Are we talking about Dragonflight or remake?
Remake.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're talking about remake.
Okay.
I mean, we can talk about Dragonflight too, but for remake, like as soon as I started treating the combat less like an action game and more like a classic ATB system, like
right.
that's when it clicked. And holy fuck.
Yes.
I just
they've got something there, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad for calling it fraud, which in a way I'm still like ambivalent about, you know, the whole idea of like I've been calling the villain this like the ghost people like the script. Like, oh, the script is coming to attack again. Oh, the script broke Jesse's leg. But
plot ghosts.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise, like, I mean, I'm having a fucking blast. I was looking for Final Fantasy VII stuff all over the con. I couldn't find it because I'm old. But yeah, I just that's what I was doing on my winter break, and also playing Dragonflight with Apache too, which I know that after like you know we kind of get through all this shit, I think you know we're gonna spend a big chunk of time just landing it out. God, do we even want to call it LAN anymore? It's technically not even LAN, but it feels like a LAN party.
Parallel play.
Parallel play. I don't know if that works.
Play. How far are you in remake?
Fuck. I just finished killing Hell House actually right before it was perfect too. Holy fucking shit.
That was a great fight, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That whole atmosphere was perfect. And it was perfect going through it right before MAGFest. Because going through Wall Market and its degeneracy and its vibrance and stuff like that, hearing that soundtrack, and then going into MAGFest, which has the same like vibrancy but also sort of degeneracy, while there's also Cloud and Final Fantasy VII players cosplaying running around. It was just the perfect vibe.
I wish I could see your reaction for some later points of this game, because you know you bring up music, and I won't spoil anything, but this game uses music as a weapon sometimes.
That's a great way to put it. Holy shit. Yeah.
It's so clever about how it uses music, and there is a moment near the end of the game where it does something with the soundtrack that will blow your freaking mind.
So, okay. So what I'm doing is like the soundtrack is on streaming services, but I'm only listening to what I have only heard in the game. I've only been spoiled with one song, but that's because Apache was looking for a remix to the original song, and then we found the remake song, and then Fingers made a remix, which was better anyway, so that's neither here nor there.
What song was that?
Something people. What the fuck is the song?
Oppressed People.
Oppressed People.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, don't worry about that. That's not a big deal. But, like, legitimately, the songs can be spoilers.
Somebody told me one of my friends told me a cool fact. One of my buddies, K-World 8, he said that one thing he noticed was that the boss theme, they moved where you fight Airbuster, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Airbuster's the first time you hear the Final Fantasy VII boss theme in the original, and they kind of hold that integrity.
They do, yeah.
So that you don't hear the boss theme until you actually get to Airbuster, even though it's later in the game.
Right, because when you fight the Scorpion, you get sort of an abridged version of it that never really gets into the meat of the song. But then you get to Airbuster, and it's got like these 4 parts, and it's just like each part of it just keeps ramping up and ramping up and ramping up, and it's like, my God, they just killed the shit out of this song.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. Get ready for more of that.
I've never been like I've said this on the show before. I've always been like a 6 person. Like 6 resonated with me the most. And while I really enjoyed 7, it wasn't like I wasn't like crazy about it like, you know, the rest of the world seems to be.
Preach.
But like I'm playing through this game and it's like I get it. Like you know, the part where like Aerith and Cloud high five when Cornelio's Coliseum at the end. I'm just like, okay, like I see why everybody's like. I just was like, now kiss, like.
I usually don't like it when modern games, especially remakes, sort of like shove in tons of gratuitous swearing. But there's a moment when after Cloud lands in the church, where Aerith is climbing the ladder and is being like, I'll be fine. And then the ladder breaks and she's like, shit, and just grabs onto the ledge.
I mean, they swore in the original, right? It was very, like, weird for its time as well, but I think Barrett says shit in the original. Like, right at the start, right?
They censor him, yeah.
I remember Barrett, there's something about the motherfucking pizza or something, yeah.
Yeah, well, they censor it in, like comic ways, but, like...
Yeah.
Not in Europe, baby. He says it.
Nice. But yeah, I mean, I was the same way. I'm like, 6 was my first Final Fantasy, and 8 was the one that really resonated with me. But like, you know, even if 7's not my favorite, you know, I get it too. You know, we'll see what they do with it.
Yeah, like you said, he uses his music as a weapon. It's unapologetic for what it is, and as an old cynic, it's. I like. My favorite feeling in the world when I was a kid is having a winter break and just knocking out an RPG. Like, I remember doing that for KOTOR. I remember doing that for Final Fantasy VI when I was even younger. Fuck me. I'm so out of it. I can't think of any other examples right now. But probably WoW can count as well. Maybe 14, you know, after I moved into my new place. But like 7 was able to give me that being a kid on Christmas break playing through a RPG again. So
that was me in Mario RPG.
Aw.
Yeah. I love that game so much.
Yo, I've never played it and I've heard it's exceptional off so many people.
Oh, it's so good.
It's one of the best Super Nintendo games. I mean, it's not a hard game, but it's full of so much character and soul that you're not gonna just play it. I cannot. Talking will not do it justice. Just play it.
Yeah, that game's got heart for days.
There's a reason why people are obsessed with getting a side character from that game into Smash.
Yeah.
Who does the music for 7? Is it Soken?
No, it's Yoko Shimomura.
No, it's
Or wait, no. 7. Yeah, it's Uematsu, and then he had for the remake. It was several other people with him. But I thought you were talking about Mario RPG. Sorry.
No. No.
I think,
but that would be dope.
Yeah, I need to look into it because the soundtrack, the remake soundtrack, credits Uematsu, but like it's like sound team and Uematsu. So I wasn't sure if it was like, oh, they took his original and kind of
they did
their own thing.
Yeah, because there's like trap songs in that that soundtrack.
Yeah,
like, it's definitely like a little bit out of the normal elements. Like
he did do some original music for it though.
Yeah.
Which, funny enough, he has, I think, one track in Mario RPG. But Yoko Shimomura, who did Final Fantasy 15 and just a swath of other games, she was mainly responsible for Mario RPG. And that game has some stellar music. Like, that was Square in its prime. That whole SNES to PS1 period.
Oof, yeah.
It's kind of weird, like, you know, like we're sitting here talking about, you know, enjoying the remake and how it's like the different, you know, how they like took the different route on it and like creating a new experience. Whereas I was playing through Crisis Core Reunion and like I just wasn't having a great time. And it was pretty much like a 1-for-1 remake, you know, and I've already played the original back in the day, but I just found myself like kind of just bored. And I was like, it's not offering anything new except for like a slightly new coat of paint. Like,
yeah.
and the voice acting is,
oh God, I've heard it.
I should have just switched it to Japanese, but I didn't. But
there's a mod now where you can plug in the PSP original voice acting because I mean, from what I understand, you know, the you know, Reunion or you know isn't completely a remake. Like it's still a PSP game under the hood.
Mm-hmm.
So they were able to put in a lot of stuff like that. Like I think that's why it was probably easy for them to shove in the voices, but I don't know too much about it. I liked Crisis Core.
Yeah, like I remember enjoying it the first time around, but then this time I just kind of found myself like just I don't know, just like dragging kind of, you know, and like I kind of committed to like not 100%ing it because like the first time I did all the side missions and just like cleared that shit out.
Not to get into spoilers. I mean, I know it's an old game, but did they do any stuff to the story? I know Days is still playing 7 remakes, so I don't want to say
I mean,
anything.
I know, like, I've played the original 7, so I'm not, yeah.
It didn't seem like it was anything different. I think the story was just exactly as it was in Crisis Core. I think that's what I'm saying. Like it's, you know, here's like the 2 examples of like, okay, are we gonna do like a remake or a remaster? You know, and just go a whole different way with it.
It's interesting that you say that because the way you describe it is exactly how I felt going back to Kingdom Hearts a few years ago, where it was like, damn, I really enjoyed this. I 100%ed this. I beat Sephiroth in this, and then I went back to it, and it was felt like something that just kind of had a new coat of paint, but it's still, you could kind of still feel it rumbling on the road, right?
Yeah.
But with that being said, I did put in I don't see Crisis Core on it, but I did put in a Lineage of Final Fantasy development team at the group chat. And it's like, it shows sort of like from 6.
I saw
who
that.
ended up going where. And it's like, do you pick the left side or the right side?
My favorite's on the left, but I know the right is the better path.
I'm left all the way.
Like I love 7, 8, and you know it took me a while, but I have a pretty strong appreciation for 10 as well.
I just love 10. Oh my god, 10 is so good.
But Kingdom Hearts is such a god. It's just a parade of stupid.
I've never played it, but I've heard that if you like Metal Gear, you'll like Kingdom Hearts.
No.
That's just no. People use the one word convoluted, and that's the one big thing in common with Kingdom Hearts and Metal Gear. It's like, oh, the storyline's so convoluted. It's like, I don't know. Kingdom Hearts sounds way more dumb. Like just like oh, the shadows and the lights. Like,
oh Lord. Oh my god.
Oh, is it not like super intelligently written? That's what I thought people meant. Like,
it's fucking clusterfuck.
Do you remember?
It was just a combination of like kind of being a clusterfuck, but also it was this weird place where like they were like, oh, like okay, first of all, it's a clusterfuck. Let's let bygones be bygones. Let's be real here. But also, there was like Kingdom Hearts was weird in that back in the day, like sequels were like on the same platform, like. You play Resident Evil 1 on the PlayStation, then you play Resident Evil 2 on the PlayStation as well, and then 3, and then 4 goes on the PlayStation, or I guess the GameCube. But the point was like 1, 2, and 3, that saga, you know, you had a consistent storyline through a platform. With that being said, Kingdom Hearts did this thing where they decided, like, if you needed the full plot, you needed to play the Gaiden games.
Well, the handheld, yeah.
Yeah, the handhelds. Yeah. And, like, I was too poor for a Game Boy Advance at the time, and so they fucking lost me. Like, I play for the combat and the super bosses. That's it.
I mean, yeah, they're fun. I mean, I didn't really like the gameplay in 3, but that's a whole big conversation there. Apache, did you play Final Fantasy 13 by any chance?
No. Is that the one with the hot girl on the cover?
It's the one with the hot girl with the note. You were looking for that collectible at MAGFest.
Oh, it's that one. Yeah.
He was there. It's a note.
With the note written to his girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Says, I love you more than anything. Yeah. And then it's being sold secondhand in the store. I want that. If anyone has that, I want that.
13 does this thing in the story that Death Stranding does, where it drops a bunch of terms on you with zero context.
Yes. The fal'Cie.
The l'Cie, the C, yeah, like...
The l'Cie.
Yeah, but eventually, like, you get to understand it. You know, it takes a while, but you get there.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Imagine that cranked up to 11, and that's Kingdom Hearts.
My whole thing, when people said, oh, if you like Metal Gear, you'll like Kingdom Hearts, I thought, oh yeah, it's got a bunch of goofy, silly characters in it, but it's actually really intelligently written, and it's you'll get a lot out of the story. So I'm so glad that was dispelled before I went and played it, otherwise I would have been pissed off.
You would have been waiting for the intelligent moment, and then I just imagine, like...
3 games in, where is it?
No, not even. Like the 15th time he says, "You'll never steal Kyrie's heart." Probably just like, fuck this, man.
If I had to recommend, God, Kingdom Hearts, it should be, if you like Metal Gear Solid 4, you'll like Kingdom Hearts, because it's like the same style of dialogue. You were the lightning in that rain.
You were the light in the darkness.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
We at one point at the con we watched what Metal Gear Solid 4 video did we watch?
Oh, Metal Gear Solid 4 was a mistake. Yeah, it's a good video. It's a really good video.
Steak Bentley?
That is a good video.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely got some bones.
Can we get him on?
I'd love to. I definitely disagree with him about some points, but I'd say like 60 to 70% of it, I'm fully on board with what he's saying, and it is a really well produced video. It's worth a watch if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, we got drunk, watched that in the hotel room, and I was very impressed.
Can we get him and Mutahar on the show at the same time and just let him duke it out?
Yeah, that could be fun. I really like Mutahar as well.
Can we get him on?
Dude.
I don't know. Let me call him up. Hold on.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah. Just get him on the horn.
Dude, the fucking ending of Kingdom Hearts 3 really is like Metal Gear Solid 4, huh?
A little bit.
I don't know. I just beat the first one, and then I started playing the second one, and I was just like, I can't do this shit again. I can just put it down.
If there is any series that I would say, like, if you like Metal Gear, you will like this too, it's probably Yakuza.
I've heard that as well.
Dude, I fucking have Yakuza. A few Yakuzas in my Steam library. I really need to get to those.
Oh, it's so good.
They're fun games, yeah.
It's got that same sort of, like, detachment from reality, except when it doesn't want to be detached. You know?
Yeah, you'll have these tearjerker moments, and then all of a sudden he'll be like wearing a hot dog on his head or something. And it's
yeah,
just, like,
exactly. Like dude in his underwear, like gyrating his hips, like yeah, like it's full of so many ridiculous moments, and it'll change tone at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
You know what? You just reminded me. I think there's a point, and I still kind of feel this way. But if somebody wants to punch me in the face for saying this, I understand. But I like how this is a topic. If you like Metal Gear game, you should play, I think it's actually Undertale.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Like, the shift in tone, the meta-narrative, the plethora, like, playing that after playing Metal Gear Solid 5, which had, like the bosses kind of, one of the big blemishes is the bosses sort of lack personality with, like, the skull unit and whatnot. And then I got to play Undertale, which, had all that like set of bosses, with their own personalities and strategies and whatnot. Really enjoyed that. So
it's also sort of peak meta in video games, which I think we've talked about before.
I would say for that, like, Eternal Darkness would be my choice. Like, if you like Metal Gear, check that one out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's a reason they got those guys to make Twin
Exactly,
Snakes.
yeah.
For better or worse.
Especially if you want to hear the same cast too, because like fucking like half the Metal Gear cast is in that game too.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Also, Peep Splinter Cell. That's a good one.
You remember back in the day when everyone who was a Metal Gear fan was like, Splinter Cell sucks?
Yeah. I had a buddy that was pro Splinter Cell and hated Metal Gear, and he was just like, it's unrealistic. I'm like,
I don't know if I've ever told you this before. I don't know if it's ever come up, but I did game design in college for a very small amount of time. And I had a tutor there, and he said that like Metal Gear Solid sucks and Splinter Cell's much better on my first day. That was one of like the first conversations I had with him. And then later he said that he was the one who invented the Horse Armor DLC for Oblivion. So I think
really?
Last time I saw him, he was driving a cab. So
holy
I don't think he listens to this, but if he does, fuck you.
God, Apache, hold on a second. I need to digest what you just said there.
That was a lot.
Please tell me that's true.
No, he was a fucking pathological liar, obviously. Of course he didn't invent the Horse Armor. It was one of the best-selling DLCs of all time. He would be a multi-gazillionaire.
The type of person who would brag about the horse armor would be the type of person that does that type of shit, I think is what Nitro
Exactly. Yeah, like I picture an asshole.
He really is.
With his fucking flaming Guy Fieri flame shirt and
Oh my gosh.
shorts.
Oh man. That's so
But-
funny. But like now that we're in a place where neither series is getting games, we're both like, man, I'll take anything at this point. Like, can I just get a stealth game?
I just never enjoyed Splinter Cell. Like, I don't think it's a bad game. Like, it's
That's a different
It-
style, yeah.
Yeah.
it just isn't for me. Like, the kind of gameplay just isn't for me.
I liked I can't remember what it was called. I think it was Conviction? That the urban one?
Yes.
The funny thing is, I'm not even that big on stealth games. When you have to sneak, I would rather just kill everyone.
Do you mean Conviction or Condemned?
It's not the one where he goes to prison. It's the one where it's like more urban and you're like out in the streets.
Manhunt?
No, I don't remember. It changed up the style.
This is the problem with Splinter Cell. All of them blended together. It was like nothing was.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about a Splinter Cell game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it was one that really changed up the style and a lot of people hated it, but it was like the only one I really liked. So I'm not sure what that says.
It's funny because I remember the two biggest quarrels in my life and like my late teens was like Solid Snake versus Sam Fisher and the Angry Video Game Nerd versus the Nostalgia Critic.
I just remember all the arguments that I had historically I don't actually care about, or I've switched sides. Like, so Star Wars and Lord of the Rings was a big one when I was younger, and I was like pro Star Wars. Now I could not give a shit about Star Wars, and Lord of the Rings still rocks.
That's called growing up.
And there's tons of them like that where I either don't care about either side anymore, or I was on the wrong side the whole time.
I was just gonna say I don't know if we're gonna see another Splinter Cell game after all this Ubisoft news lately.
Well, weren't they working on a remake? But then they made some big announcement about how brands are important. Like, I don't know you probably know more about it. Go ahead.
Mega brands are threatening
Mega
their
brands,
existence.
Jesus. So Beyond Good and Evil 2 is never coming out. At this point, right?
Jesus, yeah.
What's more of a mega brand than Ubisoft?
I know that really is hypocritical shit right there.
Dude, I read that statement and all I could think of was that meme of like the guys in the boardroom where like they're talking to we need to sell more games. What are some ideas? And like the first two guys give like the, bad ideas and the third guy gives the obvious. Like, I'm thinking, stop making shitty games, and of course, he gets thrown out the window.
Wow, we've tried to bleed our players dry at every single turn, and now we're not getting the same kind of sales that we used to. How could this have happened?
Dude, it's a mystery, man. We're all trying to find the guy who did this.
They blamed it on Mario Rabbids too. Like, they're like, well, that didn't do as good as we hoped. And it was like,
Which is
well,
funny
yeah.
because I've heard that was actually a good game.
The first one was, but by the time the second one came out, I think someone made a point. It was like, that first one came out like when the Switch launched. So like everybody was like, oh, cool, we need a game to play. But like now at this point, it's not enough.
There was a point in time where seeing Ubisoft written on a game was a mark of quality. And it meant that was going to be a good game, and you could trust it. And they have burned all of that trust over the past. I mean, a long time ago at this point.
Well, that's because they leaned so hard into monetization.
Yeah, like the last Far Cry I played was shit.
Which Far Cry? Because I actually
6.
had a good time with 5. I didn't play 6.
5 was okay. 6, by the time 6 rolled around, I was like, this feels janky. Like I played it pretty early. But still, it didn't feel good, and I just put it down.
I heard so much negativity about 6 that I just didn't bother, which sucks because I had a great time with 5.
Yeah, 5 was pretty tight.
I just like wandering around in Montana.
Just all this is, the Assassin's Creed type games where it's just these huge collectathons. There were big maps and just repetitive activities. It's like, all right, we're done here. Like, if I have to climb one more fucking tower to reveal more of the map, like
that was where they killed all of my want to buy their games. I said I'm never buying their games after Brotherhood.
When they started templating everything?
When they fired the main writer and said, no, they wanted to make the game into a franchise instead of telling the story the original author wanted to tell. And so because they wanted to keep releasing games every year with a new time period, and all the Assassin's Creeds that came out of Brotherhood were done after they fired the main writer.
I don't know how they do it. I mean, I'm admittedly not really an Assassin's Creed fan, but if I wanted to be one at this point, I don't even know where I'd start.
And that's with this latest Assassin's Creed. It was like they turned it into like this like RPG more like to like where your gear was, you know, all leveled and the enemies were leveled, and like if you went to an area too soon, they would like really fuck you up. And like the first games kind of did that, but not in this like numbers, like, you know, like where it's just like bullet spongy territory where it's like, okay, you're just adding HP to this guy and they make my weapons suck. Like I can't do like the single stab on these guys. Like, okay, I'm out. Like
I bought one at midnight, and like I was really excited for it, and it looked like something completely new. And you know, I played through it, completed it, and I loved it. And it had some serious issues that needed fixing. Like it wasn't perfect. And then they made the second one, and they fixed all the issues with the first one. And then Brotherhood came out, and it was amazing. And like then they just, I guess, jumped the shark, or just went full corporate on it. And I feel like they just ruined like what could have been a really good series.
yeah.
Do you remember how? Do you remember back when Assassin's Creed was such a huge deal that they had a collaboration with MGS4?
Yeah, exactly, right.
And Peace Walker too, right?
Do you have Altair's costume?
Yeah,
he had Altair's costume, and then
isn't that where like "Did you like it" come from?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
And then in Peace Walker they had the hay bale, right? You could do the dive into.
Yeah.
And not so much now.
Yeah, no, ever since, I mean, like, the one before this one, like, I think Origins, the one that was in Egypt, that was okay, but then this, like, one where they went to the Greek thing, it just, I don't know, it just turned full RPG.
I don't, you know, I don't see the Matrix anymore. I just see the lines of code now, and it's just I just see the corporate monster. When I look at the cover, all I see is awful corporate monster that I don't want. I don't care if your game's good. I'm not giving you money.
Yeah, for me, it's just like as soon as I see the open world map and the RPG tree.
Yeah.
And the collectibles to fill out the RPG tree, I am just checked out. And I think that's why I like 14. I think that's why I like the 7 remake so much, because it's like, it's not, I mean, folks are kind of upset because it's a bit more linear, but fuck, it feels like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. And I was just about to say, like, we need more linear AAA games because everything is open world now.
Yeah.
But nobody's doing that. I mean, there's basically only 2 models of AAA games at this point, more or less, and they're going to be like the Ubisoft Assassin's Creed model where it's just unlockathons, and then, you know, like we were talking about before, the walkie-talkies.
Walkie-talkies, yeah.
Yeah, and that's basically it. There's not really a whole lot of deviation from that. I guess you could say MMOs, but like they all sort of share in the same excesses of having to, you know, they've got to keep the machine going, and the machine just eats money, so they have to make a game that's gonna earn as much as it eats, and it's just this sort of, you know, it's a cycle. It is.
It's just I mean, how many MMOs have we seen like come and go, and just like they're just millions and millions of dollars into them, and then they're just like they're gone within a couple of months.
Yeah.
Like the, you know, the Dune MMO, is it ever going to come out? If it comes out, are people going to play it? Like I don't know. If I had to guess, I would say that MMO is just going to die on release.
Well, because everyone's chasing this idea of, you know, passive income where you put in little effort and you get a lot in return. And for some games that are, you know, genuinely good, that, you know, it works. But you can't really design a game with that idea in mind and expect it to resonate. You know, you've got to try and make a good game first, and then focus on the money second.
That's I don't know if you checked out that one chat with Gene Park and Neil Druckmann, but they were kind of talking about, you know, when you're making a game, how do you kind of divide it up between like trying to be profitable and like telling the story that you really want to tell, you know, and it's like that balance of it. And what Neil Druckmann said was, he was like, I try to make it profitable enough so that we can at least do it again, you know, and like at least, you know, make our money back and then try to do it again with what we learned from the last one. So, you know, regarding The Last of Us, like whatever you think about it, I thought that was kind of a cool, you know, approach. It's like, you know, let's try to find that balance of like, yeah, sure, like they upset the audience with what they did with Last of Us 2, and it was pretty divisive, but it still made its money again to where they can like move on and do more things with it if they want to.
I mean, I'll give him this. He didn't try to make a game that nickel and dimed everybody.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's the lesser of two evils here. But
Wow,
you know.
I sure do love the games industry when we say, oh, well, at least they get a pass because they didn't try to rob everyone who plays it.
Yeah, well, that's
I
kind
sure
of
do love gaming.
steering it back to what we were saying before. Like, you know, how can you tell if something's genuinely good when our standards are so low?
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
sure.
And like, did y'all see the new Avatar?
Yes, and I really liked it. I saw it as soon as it came out, right? And I really enjoyed it. I couldn't tell you the first thing about it. Like, I don't even know what the characters are called, but it looks fucking great. It looks so
I had
good.
a good time. It was
and
alright.
I enjoyed it. It's probably a bit long. Like,
it's like 3.5 hours, man. That's Lord of the Rings territory.
yeah, it's a little bit long, but holy crap, does it look good? And I need to ask for everyone who's seen it. You know when your computer and you're playing a game, right? And the FPS drops and you can tell. Did anyone else get that with that film? Where you could see where the frame rate changed.
I saw it in 3D, so no, because I was too distracted.
Oh, I saw it in 2D. I haven't even seen it in 3D, but it looked fucking great in 2D. Like, really, really good.
It was pretty good in 3D.
That's kind of the read that I've seen from most people. It's like, yeah, visually cool, like story-wise, the characters, like, it's fine. Like, no one remembers anything. This isn't gonna like shift the culture at all. Like, it's kind of a by the numbers thing.
I mean, name 3 characters. Most profitable movie of all time. Name 3.
Jake Sully.
He has 1.
Spider.
2.
Nateri.
Okay, you did it.
Got 3.
You got 3. You got 3. I was going to say the first movie, though. Can you do the first movie?
Fuck no.
What's the bad guy called?
See, because you're trying to use characters that were in the second movie.
Yeah.
As well. So it's kind of.
I don't know. Did you guys see Jeremy Blaustein's tweet about it?
No.
Oh, he hates it. He really hates it.
He said Avatar 2 was a dark, cynical, soul-sucking, money-grabbing, time-wasting, narcissistic, message-free piece of shit trying to disguise itself as a thing of joy and beauty. I hated it beyond words. He said, let me add that it was also nauseatingly violent, mind-numbingly uncreative, and relentlessly interesting with characters that were as thin as I can't think of anything as thin as they were.
Holy shit.
Listen, I'm saying right now, it isn't the deepest film I've ever seen. It wasn't a great thinker. I didn't feel like my life was enriched for it. It was like going to the aquarium, but occasionally the aquarium explodes.
Jeremy Blaustein saw Avatar 2. Holy shit. Oh man,
that's incredible.
He went off.
I was gonna say, like, that's quite the dichotomy between Kojima saying saw so and so and Blaustein just like going scorched earth on a motherfucker.
We know when he doesn't like it.
If I had one dream for Kojima related things, it would be that I just want to hear his full opinion on something that he absolutely hates.
Yeah, because he won't criticize art.
He'll just start talking about other shit. They'll be like, I don't know, but this other thing I was having the other day was pretty good. Like,
yeah, he
bagel,
won't do it. Like he's talked about this though. He doesn't want to do it because he respects other creators too much. Like even if it sucks, you put work into it, and I'm not gonna dishonor that. Which I respect.
The opposite of Doug Walker, who is totally open to people making fun of him because all he does for his career is make fun of other people's media.
But God, I just want to hear Kojima go off once. Like him complaining about journalists is the closest we're gonna get.
I'll say I saw the first Avatar as soon as it came out as well, and I remember having this feeling of like it being the next step in filmmaking. Like all new techniques were on display, cutting edge technology was being used for everything, and I would say I got a similar feeling with the second one too. I mean, it clearly was using
the latest tech and stuff,
very new technology to film everything and create everything, and that's probably why it cost like $1 billion.
Would you say it was like an evolution though, like how we get like between a game console, or was it just kind of like it's looking a little bit better, like?
No, I do think it was like an evolution. Like when I saw the original, it was the same feeling. It was like it didn't feel like it was just a cash in either. Like, you know,
No, he cares. I mean, he genuinely cares about what he's making. I mean, the dude like has like what, an 8-hour cut of this movie? Like the second one, he's just like 3 more in the bag ready to go or something.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me at all, but yeah, I think it's worth going to watch, especially if you like going to the cinema and you like having the night out with it, and you like taking your kids or whatever to go see a film. Like I do think it's worth watching.
I had a good time.
I do think 3D would be the way to go, like on that too, just to see like where the benchmark is right now. It's funny, like I was asking that because on the latest episode of Brain Structure, this is your Brain Structure recap. Nicholas Refn was on, and he was kind of saying like, you know, like video games are expanding into new territory, and like while movies are kind of like staying stagnant. And you know, so that's what I was kind of seeing. I was, you know, seeing your opinion on that. Like if this movie with the most recent thing coming out, it's like, okay, this is a step up from everything I've seen before, you know, visually.
Yeah,
it's probably harder to get funding for new movies too. You know, for games, there's a little bit more liquidity, I guess you could say. But with movies, you know, streaming services are sort of eating up everything, so it's harder to get something risky.
I mean, video games can charge you in multiple ways as well. Like a film can only you just buy the film, right? When I went, I was hoping that they would have like the Avatar themed popcorn and drink and stuff, but they didn't have that. I was so annoyed. I was like, damn, I wish I was an American right now.
Curiosity, I want to hear from each of you. When was the last time you rewatched a movie or TV show?
Oh, like recently. Like I watch Star Trek all the time.
Okay, is there anything contemporary that you rewatch?
I would watch. I really need to rewatch Nope. But I mean,
sometimes I'll watch a movie in theaters and then rewatch it when I get home and like do it with subtitles, you know, and just like fully absorb it, you know.
Does reading the TV tropes page count as rewatching?
Yeah, no, I don't think I have I don't think I do rewatch anything contemporary.
Yeah, I used to.
The only things I watch though is you've got a point. Like the things when I do throw on stuff, it's like old comfort shit. Like, you know, we always just like throw on The Simpsons before we go to bed or something. You know, just old seasons of that. You know, pre-season 7. You know, the good shit.
Here's my question.
I think modern Simpsons is watchable. Like I can watch any episode of The Simpsons pretty much.
But it's more about rewatching. Is there enough to bring people back? You know, and just speaking personally, I'll do the same thing where I've got these older sort of comfort shows and movies that I'll watch. But modern things, I'll watch it once and I will never come back to it. And I have no interest in coming back to it. Like I've got it, I'm done. And I'm not sure if that's a statement on the quality of what's being made, or I'm just getting older, and I'm more picky about my free time.
Yeah,
I think it's a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B, really. Like,
yeah,
that's like where I was with the Crisis Core. You know, I was like, man, there's only so many more hours left. Like, I don't really want to do this again. Like, I don't know. It looks great. Good job, guys.
In saying that, though, I think I would rewatch Avatar too. Like, I think I want to go see it in 3D now as well.
Yeah, I might rewatch it too. That's kind of weird.
And also, like, I know people say this, and it does sound kind of pretentious, but I really do think it's something you should see in the cinema and not on your home screen.
Avatar, again, it's so weird. I know, like, the joke is like it's making billions of dollars, but it has zero cultural impact. But like, I look at this and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, I would watch it again. And it makes me wonder, like, is he like, what is he lacing his movies with to make them addicting like this?
I just think, like, you know, you can watch a film for many different reasons, and this is just a fancy aquarium of films, but it's very, very fancy.
I mean, I would go back to the aquarium too. In fact,
yeah.
For me, it goes back to that like Plinkett review of Titanic, where they just say, you know, James Cameron takes sort of the most what's the word I should think of, the most determined of tropes, if you will, and sticks them with these very emotionally volatile stories. So you're like, even though you don't know anybody's character name, like, you know, you know the archetype they are, and you just get invested in making sure that, oh, holy shit, Kojima retweeted something about Titanic, like, right when I said that. That's so freaky.
Creepy. He's watching us.
He's watching the show. Which one of yours, Kojima? Just kidding.
It's Kaiden.
But but like I said, like he adheres to these sort of very familiar, very universal tropes that are still very like that hit us in our brain spots. So even though we don't know the names of like any of the blue people, we at least like relate or kind of get emotional about those tropes and those archetypes.
The message of the story is like it's incredibly vapid. It's got like a makes you think kind of.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, are we harming the environment? Isn't that bad? Ooh.
And to some extent, that's the same way with Titanic. Like it's like, ooh, it's the love story of a century. She's running away from a terrible marriage, which she should have, but...
And yet, despite being so transparently vapid, it feels more substantive than just about anything else that's coming out these days. Because of these tropes, because nobody else is using them.
It really doesn't push. It shows you this issue, but it really doesn't push it, because at the end of the day, you're in the cinema watching Avatar, you can't do shit about any of this. And, like, I
threw away my non-recyclable popcorn bin, like,
and if you really cared about the environment, wouldn't you have like done a lot less environmental damage by not making this movie? I mean, come on now. Like...
I mean, the joke is that he's only making these movies to bankroll his deep sea exploration hobby, but like,
bro,
do you remember when the first one?
May as well, fuck it.
I mean, yeah, I get it. Like, that's pretty. I get it. Do you remember when the first movie came out? It just sort of ties into what you were saying about these tropes and sort of how fundamental they are. When the first movie came out, there were all these reports about what they called post-Avatar depression syndrome. Do you remember this?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, people saying they were upset because they couldn't live on the planet. I should know the name of the fucking planet. That's the name. That's what the people are. The Navi people.
It's Pandora, and the only reason I remember that is because of the music streaming service. But you would think that something that had a term like that come out of it would have more of a cultural impact. But like almost as soon as it arrived, it was gone, and nobody cared.
Yeah, it's weird to see like a sci-fi show that like normally when I watch sci-fi, I want to get like super into it, like super geeky about it. Like, you know, I can say hello and goodbye in all the languages from Star Trek. Like, I know all the stupid names for like different things in Star Trek. Like, I care about it a lot, and it's because these worlds draw me in. But Avatar just doesn't do that. Like, it's more of just a fire and forget. Considering this guy goes so deep in the ocean, like his movies just ain't.
It seems like a fireworks show. Like if like you enjoy watching it, but if someone's like, "Well, what happened?" You're like, "I don't know, man. Just fireworks."
They exploded, and everyone cheered.
I think one of them was like Mickey Mouse. I don't know.
I actually think the more you try and think about the plot of the film, the more you think about the different story beats, the worse the film actually gets. So just don't think about it. Just don't think about it. It's okay. This is just like a one-off. It's not like this is how you engage with all media.
Yeah.
It looks damn good.
Oh, it does, yeah.
What we'll say about the Titanic is I've watched that film so many times, right? And every fucking single time it hits the iceberg, I'm like, move out the way, the iceberg's coming.
You always think it's going to change. You always think that, you know, they're going to make it this time.
Yeah. So I forget that it's, you know, when you're watching Titanic, I forget that it's like a disaster film. Like, it sucks you in, man. You forget that iceberg's coming. But yeah, Avatar 2, it's alright. Go see it.
I watched a movie recently called Banshees of Inisherin. I actually heard Rocco, our former guest, he was talking about it. This movie, it's on HBO now, but it's just about these two guys that live on a small Irish island, and like all this bad shit happens just because one of them's like, I don't want to go to the pub with you today. I don't think I like you anymore. It's like,
the other night, 2 hours you spent talking to me about the things you found in your little donkey shite that day.
Well, it wasn't me little donkey shite, it was me pony shite, which shows how much you were listening.
I don't know if this is even underappreciated, but I was like never a huge Mega 64 fan growing up. Like I didn't really engage with that. It was like around, it was something that other people did, right? But I wasn't really that into it. Mm-hmm. So I go back and I rewatched a lot of it recently. Rocco is a fucking fantastic actor.
He's so good, dude.
and he's also like so good at being acting like in a Sacha Baron Cohen kind of way. You know, like when he's playing Borat.
Yeah, where you never know if he's on character, like, or if he's doing a bit or not. You're like, wait a minute, like, is this a bit?
He just, no matter how embarrassing it gets, he just never drops character.
Yeah.
I was so impressed with him.
Shouts out.
So yeah, if he's in something, I'll watch it. I think he's really good. I don't know if he's underappreciated. I don't know if other people have recognized this about him, but holy shit, he's good.
They were actually in a movie that's, I think, on Netflix now. Like Todd and Aaron, like, were actually in a movie where they were featured as the characters Todd and Aaron. Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know. They do the Game Awards.
Yeah, but that's like in a movie. They're like not the main antagonist, but they're like part of a thing that makes this girl, like, she's like getting cyberbullied by them, and they're like, "Oh, your shit sucks," like, and so she like quits. I don't know the full. Maybe I didn't watch it, but
I got to bring this up. The most recent Todd and Aaron, which is, by the way, like, I look forward to that all year, every year. It's like the highlight of the year for me.
Yeah.
Not to spoil it, so skip ahead if you haven't watched it yet. I know it's been a bit, but at the end of the most recent one, they do a skit generated by an AI.
Oh yeah.
And when Garrett, I know you're listening to this. I gotta ask you, because when you were on last, we were having a conversation about AI, and I was like, "Hey, you want to see something funny?" And I made it generate. I made like the Chat GPT thing that's been going around. I made it generate a Mega 64 sketch, and it was almost like an anti-sketch because it just sort of, it's just really stupid, and it's got that same sort of flat tone, you know.
But their shit started the exact way.
Yeah, it did,
so
and I gotta know, like, did that come from our conversation, or did we just accidentally hit on your punchline? Because if we did, you did such a good job of not letting on.
Yeah, he did. Like, yeah, he did not flinch at all. Like,
nope.
While we were talking about literally what they had done before it was released.
Yeah.
I gotta know.
That's so funny.
I saw that and I was like, oh my god, did that come from our conversation, or did we just guess?
Or is OpenGPT just that fucking good?
Yeah, no,
That's
either
scary.
way, like either way, whatever way it happened, it's still fucking awesome.
Oh, it is, yeah.
So cool.
And ChatGPT is terrifying, for a lot of reasons, but probably not the ones you think. But we can talk about that later. Oh man, on the subject of media and not being sure if it's good or not, I haven't watched this, but did any of you watch the Last of Us show?
It's not out yet.
It's not out yet?
Yeah, it's on the 15th.
That shows how much
like,
I pay attention.
Media has had, access to it, but the people haven't yet.
God, with as much as I see about it.
First 3 episodes were reviewed, and it's been getting pretty good reviews so far.
I don't trust the Access Media anymore on their reviews of stuff, because they say Discovery and Picard are great, and then they say that the Orville's shit. Yeah. And then I just disagree completely with. I feel like the opposite of however they review stuff.
That's I like our guy Gene Park, and normally he's got a pretty good sense of stuff, but I don't know, he also liked the Halo show, so I don't know.
I'm kind of with Apache here. Like, if somebody says they like Star Trek Picard, that pretty much tells me they have no taste.
Yeah, I don't think.
Maybe I took it a bit further than you.
I think it's a conflict of interest. I just think all these people that get to see shows early, it's a conflict of interest, because if they don't review it well, they don't get to see it early next time, and then they don't get to write their review quick enough, and it doesn't get into the algorithm, and no one clicks on their page for stuff. I just think the whole industry can get to fuck. And so, even if it's reviewing well, it's almost like it doesn't mean anything, because you don't know if those reviews are genuine, or if they just don't want to lose their fucking access.
Too, even with independent YouTubers, there's some people that are just they're on a certain lane already, where they're like, well shit, if I say that I like this one, everybody will go against me now, so I gotta just be like, oh, this shit sucks, and just there's just this grifter channels that are just always picking on shit, and it's are you ever pleased with anything?
I've got a friend of mine, he runs a Game of Thrones podcast, and he's ran it for a long time, and he was telling me it's sometimes difficult to when you feel something different that the entire fan base feels, right? And people listening to your show, that you're almost afraid to say how you actually feel because you could lose a portion of your listeners just for having a different opinion of of them. And it's like, you know, obviously he navigates that better than just shilling, but I can understand like the situation that they're in is very awkward a lot of the time. And so it just makes me not engage with the reviews.
Yeah, especially when you're like you said, it's like they're getting the codes from the company. It's like, okay, if I shit on this, are they going to give me another code? And is that going to make me, you know, not able to write another article, which then cuts me a paycheck? So I better like be a little nice on this one. You know, it's just, it just all seems inauthentic.
Yeah, it just seems very. It just feels like the media has way too much control over their reviews. I mean, I don't like that early access shit at all. I really don't.
I also hate when they like leak one little scene and like pick, like when some of the Star Wars stuff was coming out this year in the past couple of years, like with Kenobi or whatever. And they're like, look at this one guy doing a spin around before he shoots. Holy shit. And like everybody made like a whole Twitter day about it. I was just like, y'all are so fucking annoying. Like, I don't know. Like, shut up. Like, that's like when you're watching this 20 to 40 minute show or whatever, it's like, cool, that's 2 seconds of it, bro. Get over it. Like, I don't know. Even the Red Letter Media guys, and they're like, "Oh, when this battle starts, the camera shakes really bad." I was like, "That's what happens when battles happen. They shake the camera." Like, shut up. Like, I don't know. I get tired of like the constant negativity with it, but some of it's warranted for sure. But I don't know.
I really like Chernobyl, so I'm willing to give a chance to see how the Chernobyl folks interpret Last of Us.
Yeah, I'm gonna go into it kind of blind and just that's like I try to at least give everything a shot and just go like, all right, well, let's see what's up, and then.
At the same time, these are also the same guys who are like, you know, video games are just, you know, some toy, but The Last of Us, you know, really, it's finally a video game is telling a real story.
I mean, I need to look into the article, but that sounds like some shit that like they extrapolated to make a headline, like.
Probably.
Like, video games sure have come a long way since Pong.
Yeah. Which is how like every video game article starts when it's from an outlet that doesn't talk about video games.
I don't even think I'll watch that Last of Us show. Like, it's got nothing that appeals to me, honestly. But I know a lot of people out there do really like the games, and they'll be excited for that show. I hope it's good. I have no opinion on whether it's going to be good or bad. I'm just saying that like the strong reviews out the gate doesn't really mean anything. Yeah. But I hope it's good. I do hope it's good for anyone who wants to watch and enjoy that.
I think if someone sets themselves up with like going in and be like, all right, they better stick right to the game story, like you're gonna have a bad time. Like, don't go into something like this and being like, well, they better tell the story one for one, because just like let them sit in this universe and do what the fuck they want to do. And like,
I was about to be like, you know, we'll get to see if Craig Mattson's like just like if Chernobyl was just like kind of a lightning in a bottle, or if he actually has his writing chops. And then I look and I forgot like he did shit like fucking Scary Movie and Hangover before actually like this was his first like serious thing. So yeah. There's no other metric I can go by for that. So
I found the quote. It was from an Empire interview with the showrunner. And he said, it's an open and shut case. This is the greatest story that has ever been told in video games. They didn't shoot anything out of their eyeballs. They were just people. And that, in and of itself, is remarkably rare in games. The fact that they kept it so grounded and really made you feel. I never had experienced anything like it, and I've been playing video games since 1977.
What?
I think he meant I played video games in 1997. In 1977, I played a video game when they came out.
He played the X-Men
like
arcade game, and that was it.
Once a decade. They were all Madden.
Man, shocked to hear that every game doesn't have Cyclops in it.
So yeah, not clickbait, just a dumb take.
It's a dumb take, but it was different. It was a little bit different than what was originally what we thought.
Yeah.
But it's still bullshit.
Yeah.
It's not straight up like fuck video games.
It kind of is.
I really like Pedro Pascal. I think he's a good actor.
He is. I couldn't care less for the story of The Last of Us. I mean, it's kind of funny to me that it gets like if you like it, great. This is just my opinion, but I've always found it kind of funny that you could take a story that would be like a 6 out of 10 on like AMC and put it in a video game.
I was just about to say, it's like an AMC show. Like,
yeah, and it's like, it's 10 out of 10 when it's a video game.
One of the reviewers said it was a finer Walking Dead, and I was like, that's a really kind of low bar, don't you think?
I would rather watch The Walking Dead than play The Last of Us.
I'd stopped watching The Walking Dead because they just kept like rebooting the show inside the show. Like, they would just... It just felt like the same thing happened over and over again in The Walking Dead.
It was like Dragon Ball Z, but zombies. I was like, here's an even more powerful guy.
Yes.
Fuck, how are they going to get out of this one?
It was Dragon Ball Z, but zombies. So true. So true.
God.
You're not going to believe how fucked up this guy is.
We've talked very little about Hideo Kojima on this Hideo Kojima podcast today.
That's because he hasn't been doing shit except for taking pictures and scanning people in and getting his new fancy studio.
Yeah, he made a new studio, and it looks very nice and very expensive.
It looks terrifyingly expensive. Like, wow.
I would be afraid to work there. Like, I would worry about breaking something constantly, and like it looks really, really impressive, but at the same time, like, I would never get any work done because it would be so distracting.
Yeah. And then you got the hallways that look like a damn movie theater.
Yeah, there's like a non-zero chance they're playing that Nicole Kidman AMC video in the waiting room. Like, dude, getting a cup of coffee there looks like it's going to be an event. Like, holy crap, man. Who is bankrolling Kojima Productions?
All that Spotify money.
Like, he said spaceship. Man. Like, yeah, I would love to go there and look around. I wouldn't touch anything. Like, I'm sure the toilets are gilded.
Maybe people were just really tired of that, like, super bright white light, like, walking around,
like,
oh, fuck.
Like, I get the idea, boss, but can you turn it down a little?
Yeah.
It's like, fine, dark.
Even when, like, my TV screen, like, fades to white, I'm like, ah! So, like, walking into that every day, it's just like, oh, instant migraine.
It looks like some of the houses I've seen in Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah, this new one. Yeah.
That's a compliment.
Big pictures on the side of the wall.
Wonder if you could remake it. Gosh, I mean, yeah, it's really cool. I mean, it's just, I don't know. You think it'll actually help him make games better? I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying.
He had an interesting comment on another episode of Brain Structure. It was one of the video episode ones, which I think that's such a better format.
Yeah, they need to
just
do
have the
that.
subtitles on the bottom and just let them fucking talk and just,
Yes.
doesn't get interrupted. But it was him and Jeff, and they they were touring around the Spotify studio, and they're, just checking it out and just kind of touring it around. And he was kind of saying, like, that they had created like a good work environment, just having everybody in the same room and under the same roof, just kind of gets everybody thinking on the same wavelength and maybe the same frequency, if you will. But it's like the best thing for creatives, like doing remote work, and that, I think maybe going into this new studio, maybe he really wanted to like create an environment that people like wanted to hang out and interact together.
Yeah, because I mean, they have like movie nights and everything now, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like co-working spaces, I think trying to revolutionize the co-working space is something that a lot of offices are trying to do, even non-creative businesses. So
yeah,
get people back in.
Yeah.
Pro tip, if you want me to go to the office, pay me more money.
There you go.
Well, it's not just, I'm not just saying it about like, like actually pushing people back into the office, but what facilitates people, doing their best work once they are back in the office. What is it about these particular scenes, these moments, these aesthetics that gets what Kojima wants out of his staff?
Yeah.
Obviously this is his company and he's got a philosophy that he wants to follow, and he wants to hire people who work within that framework. But I could never work there. I worry because I look at that open space where they've got all of the actual employee desks, and they sort of have these glass dividers where everybody, it's very open, everybody's close together, and that would drive me crazy because I work better when I have privacy.
Yeah, they're like anti-cubicle there. It's like completely open. They're like glass screens for everybody.
But what's interesting is like right around the same time that they showed the studio off, they changed their hiring criteria. And they sort of lowered the barrier to entry a bit. So now if you want to work there, they're openly saying like you don't need to know Japanese. You can work remotely. We prefer you to know Japanese. We prefer you to come into the office, but it's not required. You don't have to have worked in the gaming industry. You can be straight out of school or have not worked on a game or whatever. Just like show us what you can do. Show us your portfolio, your accomplishments. Let's go from there. Like they're not looking for credentials, and they I think they even said at one point. I have to double check this, make sure I'm right, but I remember reading that they would even help you with language learning if you did not speak Japanese, which I thought was kind of wild.
That's what fucking companies should do. Bring back fucking career development.
Yeah,
develop your fucking workers. Good for Kojima.
I know. I liked that a lot, and I was like, "Damn, I kind of want to throw my hat in." Like
you should.
Like I can spruce up my resume, man. If you get picked as one of the applicants that they want to interview, they invite you to visit the studio. I mean, obviously, you've got to go to Japan to get there, but you can go in and look around and like, am I going to be that guy who applies for a job just to get his foot in the door and look around? Yes, I'm going to be that guy. Yeah, I'm totally going to do that.
No, you should apply.
May as well.
I would have to spruce up my resume a bit, but I thought it was interesting that like, oh wow, I actually could shoot my shot here where I couldn't before, because previously they required like an N2 JLPT, which Japanese proficiency level. It's pretty high. You've got to be fluent, or at least you did have to be. And now it's just like they're like, hey, we're looking for people. They had a whole big hiring event, and I'm pretty sure it's ended now. But if this is the way they're going to be doing things, then just wait. They'll probably do it again. But if I get hired, I'll have to leave the show. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say that. There's no way you can continue doing this.
Conflict of interest, probably.
I mean, if that gets you to where you want to be, man. Fuck it. I'll take that. I'll take that L.
Self-destruct the show.
Be like, hey, how about another podcast for the company?
I know an audio guy that doesn't suck.
I know 3 people that I'd like to bring in for this show. I think it could be really good.
Do you want to talk about this thing, Nitroid? It's a new year, so we got a new remake rumor.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I guess we better, because that's kind of our thing.
I had totally forgotten about that, and I think my mind had blocked it out.
Yeah, we all kind of are just like swatting them away now. It's like, get out of here, you stupid rumor.
I did notice that every time, it used to be like every time a new rumor would drop, people would, sort of latch onto it, and a lot of gaming outlets and fans would parrot it. And now I see less parroting and more sort of lampooning, which is nice.
It still sucks though. We need to go one more stage. We need to go full ignore, because even if we're quote retweeting it and going, "Oh, this is bullshit," you're still helping them.
Yeah,
still helping the reach, still helping the algorithm. God damn it.
Yeah,
and it kills me. It kills me when you see these rumor threads, and then like I get like, yeah, like don't acknowledge the shit. But I hate it when people like take it at face value and they like argue about it, like Metal Gear Solid remake, like Metal Gear Solid Run remake, and then somebody jumps in, oh, they should make Metal Gear 1 first, and then somebody jumps in and it's like, oh, well, fuck you, they should da-da-da, and then the fighting gives the original poster more engagement, so it just, it's a goddamn disaster.
Just to be, clear about what it was, but there was a Famitsu issue where they were asking questions to Japanese developers, and I think it was like, they were asking him about like what they thought the year was going to bring, and Noriaki Okimura who has worked as producer on a number of Kojima projects. He's actually got a pretty broad career, but he said that the keyword for the year was long awaited, and he said that 2023 will be a year of many announcements. Stay tuned. Now, everybody immediately started reporting that, as him blatantly saying Metal Gear was coming out. Now, is it possible that he's alluding to Metal Gear? Yeah, okay. It's possible. Sure. But don't report that. You don't know.
That's like when the Irish singer was like,
exactly,
did the Irish song, and everybody's like, "Oh, that means Metal Gear because the best is yet to come." And it was like, "Oh, Suikoden," but
yeah,
good shot. Like
they looked his name up on Google, saw Metal Gear, jumped to conclusions, despite the fact that he has an enormous career and has worked on just a ridiculous number of games. It's just, I mean, he's essentially, everybody, I'll give you a good example. Everybody essentially credits Zone of the Enders to Kojima, but really, it's more directly from Noriaki Okimura. So it's just, it kind of comes off as kind of, you're belittling his career a bit because you've latched onto this one thing and assume that's it.
Yeah.
Like that's his whole career. And no, you haven't, Metal Gear is like a piece of it. Like, come on, people. So it was annoying on a couple of levels. I've actually met Okamura, interestingly enough, and he was a really nice guy. I was E3 many years back before Portable Ops came out, and they had a demo running. It was like a beta of the game running on some PSP dev kits, and I got to sit in with him and play a couple rounds with him. That was kind of cool. But he was a nice guy.
Rumors are gonna rumor.
Fuck them rumors.
Yeah. Don't believe rumors. But I haven't said that enough.
Also, we need to stop doing that thing where we retweet the person's tweet like after the announcement doesn't happen and be like, "Well, what happened, guys?" Because that's also as enjoyable as it is.
So much fun. I know. No, you're right. You're right. It's very. We should be mature.
Doesn't that one guy owe you autograph? Oh yeah, or like it didn't happen. Yeah,
it'll happen eventually.
Not even gonna say his name. Gonna have to get that picture autograph and put on your desk.
Oh geez, yeah.
Yeah.
That was really funny, by the way.
Yeah.
Do you think like he was just being a good sport, or was he actually trying to
probably
sort of suggest that?
No, I think he was being a good sport. I think he was having a laugh. I think he was just having fun with it.
Okay, well that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I respect him a lot more.
I don't like some of the. I've disagreed with him, I'll say, but that was pretty funny.
Happy New Year!
Yeah, bitch. Happy New Year, everybody. We're back to complain and
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Nah, this one's been fun. This one's been hella fun.